I believe what we're looking at here is plasma fire on a playground in Windsor, Colorado. Notice how intense and specific the burn line is, and there's nothing to burn, yet it melted much of this playground material. I'm going to go over some of the still frames close up after we watch their presentation on the news clip. I am going to draw your attention to some of the things that the reporters say, because not only do they say that they don't know what caused the fire, he is so loosely worded, he doesn't even acknowledge that it was fire, but instead acknowledges something happened here that created a high intensity amount of heat. There'll be other things that I point out during the narration of this news broadcast as well.
With us tonight. It will cost $300,000 to repair this damage from a fire at a northern Colorado playground yesterday. And it's going to be almost impossible to raise that money before the end of summer, so that leaves a lot of kids looking for somewhere else to play.
The town of Windsor is still looking into what happened, and in the meantime, Denver 7's Patrick Perez talked to families in Windsor about how the fire changed their summer plans.
To just come here and it's all fenced up and all burnt, it's just devastating.
It's hard to put into words what the kids who live near Village East Park in Windsor are feeling.
I think it would be less upsetting if, 2020 didn't really just roll around and run us over.
One of their favorite summer attractions closed indefinitely, all thanks to a fire Monday afternoon that is still under investigation.
Just so sad for our kids that it's just destroyed. We waited so long for this, and for it to be gone is so sad.
This upcoming Sunday, the neighborhood would have celebrated the second anniversary of the park's opening. And because of the pandemic restrictions last year, many of the kids were looking forward to playing here this year.
This is where I go to hang out with my friends and have fun with them, and now it's all burnt, collapsed, and we have only 2 areas to hang out, and that's my favorite area.
The town of Windsor says it'll likely cost about $300,000 to replace this part of the damaged playground. Repairs and rebuilding will likely take months.
It's not designed to do what you see here. So obviously something occurred that created a really extreme heat in order for it to burn like it did.
Those living here believe...
Did you hear what he just said? This is where he doesn't even specifically call it fire.
Take months.
It's not designed to do what you see here. So obviously something occurred that created a really extreme heat in order for it to burn like it did.
Those living here believe fireworks are to blame, though fire investigators haven't confirmed that.
It's sad, but we'll make the best of it. We have a great neighborhood, and I think we'll all rally together.
Clearly, the park that brought this community together in the good times may bring them even closer in tragedy. In Windsor, Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
For whatever reason, there's a smudged out smear part. Let that not be the focus of our attention. Let it be this very specific line, though it curves a little right there. It's pretty much straight right there, curves a little, and straight right there. The fact that it's such a fine line, regardless of how straight it is or is not, they actually do a close-up in those still frames that they went through oh so quickly. We're going to go through some of them a bit more closely. They give us a close-up of that burn line. Let's just go through some of these still frames. The rock, the shattered rock. I have documented this in many plasma fires, and I have said that I believe it is the microwaves that vibrate the shattered rock into this condition. I'll look through some of my videos, see if I can find them and include them in the links in the description. And before the end of this video, I'll show you one that I have in my kitchen. This will be my example. Notice the discoloration of the centerpiece compared to the outer edge. And the perfect line right here that exists right here where my thumb is used to exist all the way around until I dropped the top piece and chipped it. And that's the only reason it doesn't match up right here. But you can see how perfect the line is of separation. And I'm going to remove the two and put it back right where it is. It locks right in place like that because the crystals of the granite, I believe it is, or whatever, it's like quartz crystal in there. You can see the shiny crystal structure in there. It locks it in place. And you can see how much differently colored this is. This got a lot more cooked on top than on bottom. This came from a plasma fire, and it vibrates the rocks apart from one another, and literally this thing had like a laser cut. This fine line that you see going across right here went across the whole thing before I dropped it. And you can see how it's even more cooked here than over here. See how black that is? That black line came right to here, to where it was black on pink right here, before I dropped it and chipped that outer edge. So those shattered rocks on the playground, I'll include links in the description. I'll look through and I'll find a video with shattered rocks to show you that that's a plasma fire indicator, but there's plenty of other indicators right there on that playground that we're going to get back to now. I'll finish up with this here, spin it around, give it one more spin, and just tell you, when I first came across this, it was lasered all the way around. Perfect edge all the way around. Black on the top part that came up, compared to the other color that's unburned. And it was sitting on the ground like this, amidst a bunch of others, rocks that were shattered like this. But this is kind of a unique feature of its own. And I don't get a chance to show it off much, so I'm showing it off. That part, I don't know, it explains something about how it works. It vibrated this one apart and cooked the top part harder than the rest of the rock. How does that work? Ta-da! So on these rock right here, you can almost see the same pink quartz crystal makeup of this rock as the one that I just showed you. And the way that these shatter and burn, see how highly burnt the difference between the burn line here and the unburned here? I don't think that's even shattered. If it is, then it's like these burn lines where it's super burned right here and unburned here because it shatters the rock right off the surface. That's why this is all unburned and pink, because that part of the rock shattered away and fell down here somewhere. And that's why this part is unscorched inside, because that part shattered away. Probably likewise with this part right here, it shattered it away. That's why it's nice and pink and unburnt in the middle of a highly scorched area. And all these rocks that are shattered right here, fire doesn't do that. Electromagnetic frequencies, microwaves, vibrate this stuff apart. So that alone tells me plasma fire. But we're going to go over a bunch of these other screenshots where you got a lot of melted plastic, a lot of melted stuff right next to unmelted stuff. So this is highly melted here on the bottom side, but untouched right here on the top side of the same piece. And you also have a lot of, that's basically the giveaway, this highly burnt piece right here on top next to less burnt pieces. That's basically the giveaway in all of these. It looks like part of the metal literally burnt away, because right here, you can see that wasn't just bent and broken away, that was actually burnt away. And melted off. And remember, this is a playground. There's nothing beneath it for fuel. It almost looks like these rocks themselves, these rock slabs in the middle, work like some sort of conductor. The area around them, it burned right up to this rock wall. And there's a straight line going here and back there a little bit. But just the area itself is a dead giveaway. Fire don't do that. So here it looks like it's maybe using some of the metal. Maybe it's using some of the metal of the playground equipment. A completely unburned piece, I'm not sure. These are just basically all of the steel frames that they showed you that they zipped past real quick. This one, it's burnt on the right side, unburnt on the left side for some reason. The edges of these bolts are all just burnt right here on the edge. Oh, sorry about that. Fire doesn't burn like that. These ones also appear to be burnt only on the right side. Only on the right side. And these ones are completely gone. Something burnt this side, and the plastic is much darker blue here than over here. You'll be able to see this gadget right here from a farther back image. But the unevenness of this burn, it's like there's a straight line that goes straight down through it, and you can almost see the straight line right here. You literally can see a straight line. But yeah, the way that these are just burned on the side like that, fire don't do that. This is some sort of that weird electromag fire. This is my very first time looking at this again with the shattered rock. All that shattered rock, I believe that rock is actually somehow working like an antenna. Because that's what that is. That's a bunch of shattered rock around there. It completely shattered all these rock slabs, stairs that were right there. And what they're going to show us here in just a second is this line right here. They show us a close-up of this burn line between green on one side and black on the other. And they show us that close-up for a reason, so that we might be able to see it. It's like they're trying to show us. When one of the screenshots that they give, that I'm going to show you, isn't something that I cropped in. It's something that they cropped in. And they're showing you that this burn line, between burn and unburn, this is like some sort of cork material for the kids to fall on. There's not even anything to burn. Yet over here, it's got these pits burned out. See all the missing pits around here? Those will be more evident in maybe some other shots. But all throughout here, it's dug pits. And you can see the shattered rock back behind too. Fire don't do that, and that's why the guy said something happened that created a large amount of heat. Because it's obvious by looking at this, fire don't do that. Here's the burn line right over here between the burn on this side and the unburn on that side. The line goes right here. They show us a close-up here in just a minute. Can't see much other than how it's dripping down off of the pieces of the playground that didn't burn completely. Again with the shattered rocks. Fire don't do that. Not much to see. That's just one of the still frames that they gave us to work with. Here you can see how it's almost like this rope right here, if it's got some metal in it, was working like an antenna and melting the plastic right off of the rope. Or the plastic itself is what the frequency was synced up with. Now, a lot of you know I'm a flat earther and a globe earther. And I'm a directed energy and a natural release energy due to fluctuations in the magnetic field that lead to a surge in ground current. And those are on the rise because we are in the moment of pole shift, magnetic pole shift. A lot of this is the unexpected side effects of magnetic pole shift. In other cases, it's clearly directed, and we're going to discuss both possibilities in a lot of instances. Here, maybe I need to turn the light down on the camera. Here, you might want to pause it in the actual video yourself to see this better, but you can see the big pits that it's dug out beneath right around here. That looks like about 10 to 12 inches of material that's been removed right out from underneath the monkey bars. And over there is all of the melted plastic that fell from the monkey bars onto green grass that isn't burned. So whatever was directly above this melted, and this is unburned. Right there is the burn line. So from this line, this way is burned. From this line, that direction is unburned on the grass. But there's all this melted plastic that fell from directly above it. That means the grass could not have been creating flames that went directly up to melt the plastic, because the grass over here is unburned and has melted plastic fallen directly down on it from above. See how that works? That's how that works. That's all melted plastic fallen directly down on unburned grass. You can see the burn line right here. Think you get the point? Hope you get the point. Fire don't do any of this. That's the point. So here's back to the wide open cam where you can see these pits that it dug and all this plastic that it dripped out here on the green surface, whatever kind of surface this is. It's like astroturfy stuff that doesn't look very flammable. And this part burned, but this part did not burn, yet still has dripped liquid that fell directly from above. So therefore, the flames that made this plastic melt could not have been coming from below, because the surface they dripped down onto is the unburned area. Notice how straight this burn line. Yeah, it's got a couple of jagged spots in it. It's got a couple of jagged spots in it. But it's how specific it is, and it goes straight from burn to unburn. Fire don't do that. This rock, all the shattered pieces coming off the front of it, fire don't do that. Microwave frequencies do. They vibrate the rock to the point where it starts to shatter. I've seen this in multiple, probably 10 or 15 plasma fires. These rocks vibrating and chips coming off, I have documented in probably 10 plasma fires. It's just a matter of finding which one and including the link in the description, because I have so many plasma fire videos. Here's also a good spot to see how much material is missing here in the background, where it chewed out some sort of pit right out of the material. There we go. Right here. So as you can see, it seems the burn line from here over around here kind of seems to center around this. Like this was the draw, this was the antenna. Maybe it was literally the crystal in that rock or something, I don't know. But fire definitely don't do this, folks. Oops. So notice the burn line here and the straight line burn over here. I think I'll just say fire don't do this and move on with that one. This is where the guy's telling you. There. This is one of their screenshots that they throw in front of you. And this is showing the burn on the left, the unburn on the right. I'll try and get the light better, and this is the burn line right down the middle. There we go, I lowered the light. This is the burn line. And they give you a close-up. I didn't do the zoom in. They zoomed in order to show you this line. Fire doesn't do that. Notice the trees? They didn't get burned, and they're directly above this part of the burn. None of the trees burned. Again, it looks like it's centered around these rocks. And I'm just looking at these for the first time myself. This burn line back here looks mighty sus. It all looks mighty sus. That's what the kids are doing these days. It means suspect. It's beyond suspect. It's plasma fire. Oh, that's the next video. I'm going to show you how people are confirming the temp gauge riding hot. That's the next video.